Today I want to talk about something that has kind of piqued my interest for a while, and it's red light therapy, infrared therapy. Now this is the Novaa Red Light Pad. It's a device that kind of falls into this category. And I think the first time I ever heard about this stuff was in some news article about a DARPA project. And the DARPA project, if I recall correctly, was looking at accelerating wound healing in soldiers that have had, battlefield injuries and stuff. Now, that was before these diodes were like even remotely affordable, so I didn't really pay too much attention to the technology. Before we get started here, can I ask you guys to do something? I'm trying to put a lot more effort into this channel and make it like my full-time thing, and I could really use your help. Like, I need the morale boost. Could you just say hi or like let me know that you're out there? I know I get lots of views on the videos, but not many people comment, and I would love to see some comments down there, kind of like as a motivating factor. So if you could just say hi or like anything in the comments, that'd be great. The best way for me to test it was to, use it, right? I tore my meniscus doing powerlifting the better part of a decade ago, I think. It was the night before Thanksgiving, and I was warming up, and the gym was probably 28, 30 degrees. It was like 14 out, and the heat had been on for 30 minutes, and I was like, I just want to get done and go home. I remember I stopped at Arby's on the way home and had the best Arby's sliders ever in my life. But when I was doing my warm-up set, something did something strange in my knee, and it started to hurt pretty bad. Well, I kept trading on it because I'm a guy, and that's what guys do. And lo and behold, I had torn the meniscus and then trained on it for many months. So yeah, that knee gets a little angry. And then I dislocated this thumb twice in high school. My friend had a mid-80s Celica where you had to hold the passenger handle up to shut the door. And instead of just doing that, I would brace my thumb on the door. And the first time the door was wet from rain, and this was pointing that way. And, there was something jutting out here. And being teenagers, we just reset it there in the mall parking lot. We were just outside the door in the courtyard by the food court. And, my friend Josh tried to pop it back in place, and maybe took a couple tries. I don't remember if it went in the first time that time or if it was the second time. But yeah, and then I don't know, maybe a few months later, same thing happened. And that time it didn't get set right. I can't snap with this anymore. I can snap with that hand, but this thumb doesn't rotate all the way because it's not set right. So this whole thumb pad gets angry sometimes. Basically, it's like arthritis, right? You can even feel, when you feel my hand, this sticks up much higher than this because it's just not set right. So I wanted to try this on my thumb and my knee. First, let's take a look in the box here. Man, these companies really make these boxes hard to get into. So you got the main unit, you got the control, which you see attached there. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And then you just get a wall wart. So you can either run this off USB or you can run it directly off the wall wart. Now for the USB, so I just been using my Anchor power brick. I just do it through the IQ ports, and I will say the USB gets a little bit warm. So I have my infrared gun over here. We're gonna run this off a power station, which will deliver plenty of power. This will do like 2,000 watts out, so it'll power this through that, just like I do over there. I do want to take a look at that because the USB gets a little hot. I actually haven't used the wall wart yet, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that too. Like I said, I wanted to test it out. And coincidentally, the day after, or maybe 2 days after this came, I was getting into the car and I had my hand there and the wind just slammed the door on my hand. Fortunately, my Ultra Human ring is pretty beefy titanium and it took the brunt of the force, but my hand was actually shut in the door to the point where I had to open the handle to get my hand out. And this finger was just purple and blue. I tried to take photos of it. I've noticed bruises are really hard to like photograph, and it was swollen noticeably. This joint hurt and this joint hurt. So I was using this for 15, 20 minutes every evening. I would just put my whole hand in there, and I am completely confident that it accelerated the healing. It reduced the inflammation. The inflammation was almost entirely gone the next day without taking any NSAIDs or anything, because I don't like taking those things. And I will, if my knee's really, really bad, but I try not to because they're just generally not great for you. And then I would do it for 15, 20 minutes on this hand too. And I will say that this thumb has not been irritated or hurt the entirety of that time. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Let's take a look at the device here while I keep talking. On this one, they have different models of this and different product offerings, but we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 150 diodes here. We'll plug this in a minute, but I want to get temperatures when we do that. So just hold on for 1 second. So like I said, I used it on that hand. I feel it did great. My knee has not hurt since I started using this. It did hurt, and I used this 2 or 3 times that first day. By the time I went to bed, my knee actually felt pretty good. Like it felt quote unquote normal for, you know, someone my size. Yeah, like that's just amazing. In the past, I would try things like rubbing icy hot on the area. Again, if it gets really bad, I would take an NSAID, like, you know, a Aleve or whatever, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory device or anti-inflammatory drug. And that would help. But again, those things aren't that great. And they also interfere with some of my other medications. So I try not to take them. But like this, the red light, it penetrates the skin. It penetrates it deep. You're getting some infrared here. I don't have a light meter or something where I can like figure out, you know, the exact wavelengths. But yeah, long story short, I love this product. It is great. It does have kind of a weird smell because of the neoprene. And when you use the diodes, that smell kind of comes out a little bit more. It doesn't like fill the room or anything. It's just if I smell my hand or something the next day, or not the next day, like after I'm done, you know, it'll kind of have that neoprene-ish smell. I'm pretty sure this is neoprene. It reminds me a lot of my knee sleeves, my SBD knee sleeves. Yeah, if that is the case, this is going to hold up for a really long time. You know, I've got some SBD sleeves that are, gosh, 8 or 9 years old, and they're filthy with my skin and sweat, but they still work fine. And I think this is the case here. And then you got this very generously long hook and loop fastener deal, so you can attach it. Like when I'm doing it with my hands, I just kind of roll this over once and I have my hand in there, or I'll put it around my knee. My wife had some neck pains when this thing first came because, you know, we both don't sleep very well. We're in a queen size bed. We really need a king size bed. So we fidget a lot. We're looking at solving that solution here soon. But because of it, our necks and our shoulders sometimes get a little painful. I had her put it on her neck that first day or the second day this came, and did 20 minutes, just used it like a heat pad. And, you know, an hour later, she felt great. My left shoulder, same kind of deal. Like the trap was really tight. I put it on there, I don't know, a week later or whatever. You know, hour later, felt great. So even just as like a quote unquote heat pad, like I think it would work pretty great. But I think that's that red light, that infrared light, it's getting down into the tissue. Well, I'll show you on my hand here in a little bit, and you can see like it just lights up your whole stinking hand. Kind of like the light they use in the pulse oximeters to see your veins, except this thing is like ET, eat your heart out. That's kind of my experience with it. It is a little pricey, and they do have a slightly more expensive model that comes with a battery pack that will power it, so you can have more portability. But you know, if you're taking one of these chargers with you somewhere, or you've got a wall wart, you can take the wall wart. It's not that big of a deal. The cables are pretty long and generous, so you wouldn't have to like get a good extension cord or anything. You should be fine wherever you take it. Let us see how warm this USB gets. I am going to turn this over because I'm not sure if it's going to blind out the camera. Let me grab my infrared gun and get it on. This is the HF96V by HSF Tools. I have a video about this on the channel. I really, really like this thing. I have several of the ones that like attach to your phone, and they're cool, but I like this one. You see the heat of the brick. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm trying to keep it in frame. So the brick's a little warm. The hottest looks like it's about 82 Fahrenheit right now, just from residual. I was charging my microphone a minute ago with this before I brought it over here. I imagine it's still pulling some current at all times because it does have the LED and it's gonna have to step down that voltage. But what did I say? 81. It's called 82 because it was a decimal. So we're going to plug this in. And now this is what gets really warm. This has a light in it, and it's also drawing a lot of power through there because you had, I forget how many LEDs, what was it, like 150 or something? So it gets pretty crazy. Oh, let's get a base of that. So that's about 72, slightly above ambient. The hottest one is 82, that's from where I was holding it. So we're going to call that 72 right now. If one of you could keep track of that for me, that'd be great. Yeah, the power brick immediately started shuttling power to that. It's now at 77, and the power brick is at 84 because it is powering the display here. You do have this nice little display. It remembers whatever you had it set at last, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell it to turn on. There are different modes, red or near infrared. I keep it on both because I figure then you're getting the benefit of both. Let me turn it off. Let me turn it back on. So we're on and running. The power brick hasn't gotten very much hotter, but we're climbing pretty steadily on the USB. It is about 84 degrees at the hottest point. I don't know how well you can see that. Just not at good angles. I will come back in a minute and we'll see how warm this has got. I'll let it go to about 18 minutes here and then we'll come back. Well, actually, we'll just look at it. Meanwhile, I can show you what the color and stuff looks like on your hand. Oh, how's this gonna look on camera? Okay, good. It doesn't really blow it out much. Yeah, you're just not gonna get a good, you can kind of see there around my fingers see how that red's coming through? Now, if you fold it over on both, the camera kind of washes it out, but like it makes my skin look almost like translucent. And then you would just, leave this on. Now, I will say you want to keep this away from your eyes. I'm looking at the camera and trying to like not look at this. Looking at bright lights is never good for your eyes. And specifically with this near infrared and infrared, there are people that have face units. They may have one. I don't remember. What put me on to deciding to go ahead and get one of these was YouTuber Becky Stern, who just hit 100,000, I noticed. Congrats, Becky. She got one of the face mask ones from another company and kind of tore it apart and looked at it. I was like, oh yeah, I always wanted to check one of those things out. And I'm like, well, I've got these nagging issues like my thumb and my knee. So I thought I would go ahead and pick one up. We just hit 2 minutes of use. Yeah, the maximum on this in the center is now 102 Fahrenheit, 103 Fahrenheit. So let's let it go a couple more minutes. So yeah, just like keep this away from your face. They have face specific ones that avoid your eyeballs. They have cutouts. Your eyeballs are a whole different beast compared to the rest of your body. They're very soft tissue. They're susceptible to radio waves. People that work around unshielded, I'm going to turn this over, that work around unshielded radio emissions or, work near high transmission stuff, radar, AM broadcasting towers, etc., they can develop cataracts because of the radio waves. Now, you could kind of do the same thing here with the infrared. You'd probably have to do a lot of putting it on your face, like directly at your eyeball, and that's going to penetrate your eyeball and do weird things. So just be safe. Try to keep it away from your eyes as much as you can. And like I said, they do have face versions. I'm not sure if Novaa Lab does, but you can go on their website and look. They have a ton of products. They even have like big ones of these that'll cover like your whole back and stuff. This is just the one that I thought was like the most versatile for my uses. So just eye safety, keep that in mind. We're at 17 minutes. Let's get a temperature reading here. It's up to 115 now. Yeah, that's about as warm as I've ever felt it, even after 20 minutes. So do keep that in mind. Like, I'm not sure what the longevity of that's going to be. That just seemed pretty excessive for a USB thing. But like I said, they have the wall wart. So let's go ahead and get that out. I haven't even undone the zip tie. Let me do that, even though I don't want to, because I'm completely content using the USB. There we go. Have you guys used anything like this before? We're going to go ahead and stop that. We'll unplug this, just so I can use that spot. I like the feel of this wall wart. It's very nice plastic. And then, okay, I need to remove that, do that. We should be back. What did we get up to there? Yeah, this only got about to 109 degrees. So we're going to turn her back on again. We're on both modes. You can see the light. And that wall wart is already at about 84, 85. Still only been about 30 seconds, but I haven't really told you much about what the company claims here. Now, they say it can cut arthritis pain by about 70% or up to 70%, I think the verbiage was, and heal faster than traditional methods. I would agree. My finger, I legitimately think this thing sped up healing my finger. I expected that thing to be miserable for weeks, and within 3 days, like I barely noticed it unless I specifically went in and squeezed the joints. And then I just felt like a little bit of tenderness. So I know that's an N=1, but I'm pretty sold. If I injure myself or, stub a toe, whatever, I'm going to use this thing from now on. I've also tried using it. Where my beard is, my skin's been real dry this winter. And it's just been insane. So I was trying to get it on my beard, and maybe I'll show you that at the end. It looks really goofy. Pretty much it. I will say between this, my UB Lives compression boots that I did like last year sometime, like those massage compression boots for athlete recovery, and that Pulsetto vagus nerve stimulator thing. Man, I love that thing. I have been sleeping so good since I started using that thing a month ago. It's just amazing. Between the three of these, I feel like I'm a pampered royal. and I'm just being spoiled or something. So this has been on for 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, yeah, the power brick does a lot better. It's actually cooled down a little. So it must have taken some heat just from my body. I don't know if you can read that, but the highest temperature I'm getting is 78. So we're getting about 78 degrees off the wall wart. Good to know. I'm probably going to switch over to the wall wart from now on. You can use the USB. I've probably put, 5 hours on it, and it's still going fine. You can use that wall wart that comes with it. And like I said, they do have that battery option. I promised you. Okay, let's do it, guys. Give me 1 second. Now, like I said, be very mindful of your eyes, bright lights and all that. But like, I was just doing this and trying to increase that blood flow. You know, it feels nice, but you really smell the neoprene when you do this. Let me be mindful of my eyes here. You can also, you know, put it over your shoulders, your back. Like, I'm already feeling that. Sorry, I keep looking at myself. That feels good already. Just the little bit of heat that's already getting into my skin. And that's through 2 layers of shirt. I really like this thing. Again, it's a little expensive. It's like $300 something. They do have other options. They even have like a handheld one that's just kind of like a laser thing. And let me turn this off here. So I stop blinding myself. There we go. That's better. But yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. It's definitely in my arsenal of tools now. I'm 40. I turned 40 yesterday. I'm recording this on March 24th, and I'm starting to get lots of weird aches and pains. You know, stand up from the couch, and I'm like, something just broke in my back. What's going on? And I got this thing. Pretty cool. If you've got like arthritis or some of these issues, maybe it's worth checking out if you have the money. You can go and read the reviews on their site. There's a lot of people that have had a lot of luck, including people that had like surgical incisions that they're trying to help heal, or even scars and stuff. Go through those, do your due diligence. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'll have a link to it in the sticky comment. That's just Novaa Lab. That's their Novaa Light Pad. That's Nova with 2 A's. Novaa Lab. But yeah, I'll have a link to it. Medical grade, extra power, red and infrared lights, safe and effortless. And it's pretty effortless. Just be mindful of the eyes. See you guys.